Has the zombie apocalypse begun? Don't know. Maybe the lemming apocalypse has. Hello, my name is Todd. I want to thank you for tuning back into the Teal Check channel one more time. What I've got for you today is a story that took place just this last Friday. But let me start off by saying, I think the world's gone just a little bit crazy here of late. We got people all across the state of Oregon and some places across our country that just listen to anything the government says and then they believe it, whether there's scientific backing of it or not. Now, I could say what I really want to say, but I know YouTube would completely pull me from the channel. So I'm going to put it in the form of a question. Do masks actually work? That is a question. I would love to have an answer, because I know not so long ago you used to be able to, back in January of 2020, and I never did pull a screenshot of it, where the CDC actually listed how effective masks actually are. And then as the whole mask mandate started ramping up in 2020 and carrying on into 2021, and now here in the state of Oregon carrying on to 2022, yeah, their website says something completely different than what it used to say. Now, I think of late they've come out and actually discussed this a little bit better, but they are still highly recommending that you need to wear a mask and that masks work, but they're not actually stating any studies that I have been able to find to support it. So I'm not going to say masks work. I'm not going to say masks don't work. But I'm going to point out a story here of late that should make everybody start to question. And thus I say, we got some lemmings. In which way might that be? Well, you know, if you drive around the city of Portland like I do on a daily basis, you will see people walking down the streets all by themselves or driving in their car literally by themselves and no other soul in there, and they've got their mask on. Good little lemmings that follow what the governor said not so long ago that demanded that we wear masks outside. No scientific backing on it, no reasons why, but they're doing it. Now, I can understand maybe to a degree, although I really don't, that if you're a Uber or Lyft driver, you wear a mask. Okay, fine, if that's what they want. Yeah, okay. So people are wearing masks. They go about their daily lives here in the state of Oregon, here in Portland for sure. Seems like everybody's wearing a mask no matter what they're doing. Although I do go to a church on a Sunday that has a lot of people and we don't have a mask requirement. Praise the Lord. Finally, you can at least go someplace where you can be free as we are in the state of Oregon. Now, although the pastor doesn't say you must wear a mask, he leaves it up to you to decide. And no one else in the church criticizes those who do, and no one's criticizing those who don't. Of course, I'm amongst those who don't because I get extremely short of breath when I wear a mask. And I'll say nothing more than that. But here's the story. On Friday, I was in my local Portland public building that I frequent quite regularly. And one of the workers there, as I was on my way out, because he and several others know that I typically don't wear a mask simply because of my respiratory issues. I get hugely short of breath, and in a certain point of the building, I absolutely cannot have one on. I had nearly an asthma fit, or had an asthma attack the other day, trying to comply and make everybody happy that I'm following the governor's executive orders. And I ended up having to yank it off because I couldn't breathe. But anyway, typically I will throw one on below my nose, of course, so that I can breathe. And, you know, people haven't been saying anything as I do that, although I know people think I'm weird because I'm not wearing the mask properly. I'm not following the signs that say to put it over your nose and your mouth. I don't care. I'm wearing one. I'm complying with the dumb governor, even though I'm technically exempt. So leave me alone. But aside from that, here's the story. He pulls me aside and he informs me that he himself got COVID here recently. And he's one of the workers in this particular Portland building who applied for a religious exemption and got his religious exception by the city of Portland and to not be vaccinated, just like my daughter. But unlike my daughter, who got discriminated against because, like me, she can't wear a mask when she's in a particular part of the building, and they took away both her jobs because she did 2 different jobs for the city in this particular building. Now, and that's because they won't accept her ADA with not wearing a mask. And they wanted her to disclose all her ADA information, which is a violation, and they're technically not supposed to ask that. And as of late, I'm having a terrible time trying to find an attorney that actually wants to fight the city of Portland on their discriminatory practices of those who have an ADA, so, like my daughter. So anyway, the city of Ashland is not accepting anybody's ADA around their respiratory conditions and not wearing a mask in the city buildings. Now, they might be complying with other ADA guidelines, but this one they're definitely not doing. And they are threatening people with loss of job if they don't comply, or they're not allowing them to come to work, like my daughter. So this employee comes up to me, informs me he's got COVID, and he also informs me that one of the other employees who also got a exemption from the vaccine mandate in the city of Portland by our stupid mayor, she also came down with COVID. Now, the one thing you all need to know is they were required, even though they got a religious exemption, to wear an N95 mask every day when they're at work. And they were. And they both got COVID. So are they of the 5% where, you know, because if you look on the CDC's website, and I'll post a link to it, that says it's 95% effective, they must be the 5%, because after all, they now got COVID. And guess what? Something else you need to know, everyone in that building has been vaccinated, and every one of those employees have been wearing masks. But a couple employees came in with symptoms and started infecting others. I find it ironic. We're told, get the vaccine, it will help. And yet people are still getting COVID. So how effective is the vaccine? Well, now we're being told it will help protect you from death from the disease. Well, I can tell you, I wasn't vaccinated. Neither were 5 of my members of my family vaccinated. And we got COVID. We all survived. None of us had to be hospitalized, and we all had severe symptoms. I'm just saying. Anyway, I thought you might find that interesting, that here's a situation where people were being forced to wear N95 masks, and the one gal I know for a fact didn't wear anything but an N95 mask anywhere she went, because I saw her regularly climbing out of her car with her mask on. I saw her regularly driving her car with her mask on. I saw her walking into the building with her mask on. She wore a mask when she was in the building. In other words, she wore the mask everywhere she went. In fact, she was so hypersensitive about getting COVID that she chewed me out for walking through one day without a mask on, because I was having a hypoglycemic reaction and I was eating something so that I could actually drive my car to go home. Since they don't want me eating in a certain part in the building, I needed to eat something so I could actually get out of the building. And she was chewing me out for not wearing a mask, and I just simply told her, I have an exemption and leave me alone. But she was so hypersensitive on it, and yet she still came down with COVID. Just thought you'd be interested. Do the mask work? Well, I'm not going to say yes. I am not going to say no. I will direct you to the CDC and follow CDC guidelines and your health authority, whoever they might be, just so you don't get in trouble. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. God bless. We'll see you next time. If you have made it this far in my video, I sincerely thank you for watching its entirety. If you like my content, please hit the subscribe button. Remember to hit like as well. And feel free to watch one of my other videos. I will post them down below. Thanks again for taking time out of your valuable day to watch my video. It sincerely means a lot to me. Take care. God bless. Feel free to leave your comments. We'll see you next time.